I found out my 3-year-old son is not mine, but wife wants me to stick around still. I am 32 and my wife is 27. We dated for 2 years and have been married for 5. After getting married, we became pregnant with a son. He is 3 now. I never questioned if he was mine ever, because I trusted my wife. He mainly just looked like her. We always joked that he was just her child, since my features were nowhere in his face. Well, as of recent, I ran into an ex of hers at work and we said hey to each other, engaging in some small talk. As we got to talking, he got this serious look on his face and proceeded to tell me that my wife and him had hooked up a couple times after our marriage. He said he wanted to tell me because it had weighed on his heart for a while, and she hadn't even told him she was married until maybe the 3rd time. I didn't believe that. This came to me as a shock, and when I mentioned our child, he just kinda got a grim look on his face, as if he wasn't true. I thanked him and confronted my wife a few days later after some pondering. She denied it at first but then came clean. She had done it because we were going through a rocky time in our relationship and she wanted attention. They rekindled and started hooking up again. Needless to say, I was furious when I realized it all made sense. I looked at my son's photos and my heart broke. I told her that I wanted a divorce and that I wanted arrangements made for a DNA test on our son made as soon as possible. She started apologizing a lot, saying I can't just leave my son and that I need to stay to support him and her still. I still love him to death and I don't want him to struggle because of his mother's wrongdoings. But at the same time, I can't stand to be in the house right now. I'm typing this in a hotel, unsure of what to do. I don't want to pay child support, but I'll have a legal obligation. Maybe there is a way I can get his actual father to pay. Maybe her ex isn't even the father and it's some other guy. I don't even know what to think. Top advices. Here's an advice from Nero Aldrin 20. Contact a lawyer immediately. Depending what state you are in, the child is proof of infidelity and should make for a quick divorce. Here's a comment from XX Black Wolf XX22. Agree to this. In some states, if you are not the father, you might still be responsible for him because you, 1, were married and 2, you signed a birth certificate. Only a lawyer in your state can tell you. Get as many consultations and see what lawyer will be best suited for you. However, have questions written down before speaking with them and have them answer as briefly but as best as they can. Good luck, brother, you will need it. If the situation was that you are not the father and you can divorce without penalty of CS, I would divorce and look for a better woman. Here's another comment from Swag Rabbit. In every state, he will almost certainly be responsible for the child unless the other guy wants to step in. And a comment from CPT Croissant. He should go back home and play nice while finding a shark of a lawyer without her knowing because it's very likely he could be on the hook even if the kid isn't his. Let the lawyer do all prep work without her being aware and coordinate when to tell her they're getting divorced. Here's a comment from Darth Vader's dong. Had he not told you? She never would have. That's not love. That's not trust. That's not what a marriage should be. Get the DNA test, then get out. Next story. Girlfriend wants to abstain from sex after a year and a half of dating. I am 24 and my girlfriend is 26. My girlfriend threw a huge curveball at me 2 nights ago. She said she's felt like she's been neglecting her faith and wants to be closer to God. This means no more premarital sex after having a romantic and amazing intimate relationship with her for a year and a half. Since I've been with her, the only thing I've noticed is that she prays most nights. However, she doesn't attend church or practice abstinence. In her previous relationship, she wanted to wait until marriage before having sex. She was able to wait 2 years, but she ultimately succumbed to what most of us do. After that, she told me she felt guilty each time it happened and they would abstain for as long as possible in between periods of intimacy. With me, however, it's been different. We took our relationship relatively slow. We didn't have sex until 4 months in. didn't say I love you until 7 months together. She told me she's never had that guilty feeling and that it's only been slightly in the back of her head. It should be known that I'm not a religious man. I'm very much agnostic. She's been Catholic her whole life, but has never actively practiced the religion. She blames herself for not being more open and honest in the beginning of the relationship. At this point, I've been very honest with her and how waiting until marriage is not okay with me. I'm currently starting my master's degree and marriage isn't even in my near future. I feel like this has put a lot of pressure on getting married and the future of our relationship. Everything happened so fast. One moment we're about to have an amazing date night and now this. Our relationship has been great so far, but I don't think this is something I can compromise on. I want to be able to make love to the person I love. I want marriage to be what comes from an amazing relationship, not a prerequisite to one. Has anyone ever dealt with a situation similar to this one? If I'm not able to agree with the abstinence, is the relationship over? I want her to be truly happy and not have any regrets. I feel like the only choice I have is to separate. Too long didn't read. Girlfriend of 1.5 years suddenly wants to stop having premarital sex. It's something that I'm not comfortable or willing to compromise on due to a plethora of reasons. Top advices. Here's an advice from star 1014 Light. You're both valid in what you want in a relationship. You've just become incompatible and that's okay. You separate and find more compatible people. She can force you to accept wanting no sex in the relationship, nor can you force her to continue to have sex if that's not what she wants anymore. Here's a reply from the OP. That's pretty much what we've agreed to at this point. Here's an advice from Candle Dog. When a breakup is from growing apart, and it's mutually agreed to be the best option, you have an opportunity to ease out of the relationship, mourn the loss together, cherish the last few days together, and move on with a sense of closure and acceptance. If you fight through incompatibly too long, resentment builds and the ending is much more likely to end much more painfully and leaving wounds that need to be healed. Here's a comment from Two Lyman. Conscious uncoupling. Here's another comment from Ileana Zucchini. I've heard of this happening before to two other people. Both of them just ended their relationships within a week. Couldn't be fixed.